Advertising is an art form older than the printing press itself. Prior to the invention of the printing press, a business would have advertised by word of mouth. Through the technological advances of the 20th century, advertisers had new mediums like radio, television, and the internet to catch the eyes and ears of potential customers. It was the local newspaper, however, that was most depended upon in small towns like Nashville, as we will see in tonight's presentation, with selected advertisements from the Nashville Herald and the Berrien Press. The Nashville Herald made its debut on January 1, 1904, and immediately the newspaper reminded its readers that it too was a business and needed customers. Give us the idea of what you want and we will print it correctly for you, stated this ad from the January 29, 1904 edition. Reminders that the newspaper office printed more than just newspapers appeared on a weekly basis for decades in the Herald. This April 12, 1912 ad for letterheads also noted that catalogs, handbills, folders, and commercial forms our specialty. In times of war, the hometown newspaper was often a cherished item from the home front. For a whole $2 per year, Berrien Countyans could send a newspaper to their soldier, as this July the 9th, 1942 ad states. The Berrien Press debuted the first week of June 1959, and like other small town newspapers, the smell of printer's ink filled the air and the front display area was filled with office supplies. Ticket punches and call bells were promoted in this January 1965 ad. From 1959 until the Herald ceased publication in June of 1966, the two newspapers went head to head trying to get an advantage in circulation numbers. With Jamie Connell as its photographer and with an early motto of being the picture paper, the Berrien Press would often tout that the photo was another Berrien Press exclusive. The well-known McLam building has long outlived its original business, but this ad for Peter's Diamond brand shoes from December 28, 1906 prompted parents that a pair of shoes was the greatest precaution against winter sickness. Peoples and Shepherd sold men's clothing for many years on the north side of the square. The dapper appearing gentleman in this ad appeared in the March 25, 1910 issue of the Herald. They helped the business advertise a big shipment of blue ribbon suits in latest weaves and makes. Lassiter Furniture was People and Shepherd's next door neighbor in the 19 teens. This July 26, 1912 ad told potential buyers of summer furniture that they would feel good to look at it. In the diversity many businesses had in the early 20th century, sometimes strange combinations came up. Not only could customers buy furniture and stoves, Lassiter also sold coffins and caskets and was a licensed embalmer as well. Many will remember Harvey's Supermarket in both of its East McPherson Avenue locations. Some will remember the store from when it was on the north side of the square. But in 1924, the business was known as J.M. Harvey's Cash Store and was located in the Fisher Gaskins building, or as known by many, the Miller building. In August 1930, it wasn't just the family or pets that Harvey's could feed. They fed the farm animals also. This ad for Quaker Full of Pep egg mash promised to increase profits and egg production from the chickens. The pause that refreshes. It's the real thing. Coke is it. Have a Coke and a smile. Or, as was launched in 1932, Ice Cold Sunshine. These are all familiar slogans for the soft drink that was launched in 1886. Before massive manufacturing plants and widely available commercial trucking were available, many small towns had their own Coca-Cola bottling plant, as this ad from July 1935 attests. The Nashville Grocery Company began under a different name in the early 19 teens on East Marion Avenue near the railroad tracks. Its product line changed through the years and greatly expanded when the business moved to the industrial park in the late 1960s. While the emphasis in later years may have been on food products and other household products, this advertisement reminded customers, don't forget the cow, in October 1935. Time has changed how we buy many products, including milk. Once upon a time, the consumer didn't just go to the corner store and pick up a gallon of milk in a plastic jug. This is where the local dairy came in, and Nashville had several. The Pines Dairy was owned by Mrs. Minnie Giddens, and the woman in this July 1935 advertisement said she felt like a new woman after drinking a quart of Pines milk every day for 2 weeks. Sometimes we forget just how long some food products have been around. In March 1948, almost 75 years ago, Levine's Supermarket advertised the flavor and economy of frozen foods. The various banks in Berrien County have a long history of service not only to the community, but to the local newspapers as well in their frequent advertising. In July 1944, the Bank of Alapaha promoted its friendship with the farming sector. Nashville Service Station stood watch on the corner of Davis and Marion for over 60 years. Among its many owners and operators well known to the local folk were C.T. and Laverne Gray. In the days before self-serve, a service station offered more than just gasoline. This April 1952 ad reminds customers that they had the best car wash in town. In researching local history, one can sometimes find the beginning of a well-loved businessman and neighbor's career, as is the case in this Firestone Home and Auto ad from October 1947. Albert Folsom, who then operated his own jewelry store from 1954 until 1987, was introduced as the head of Firestone's watch and clock repair department. Dessa's has occupied the same spot on Town Square West for almost 80 years. A frequent advertiser in the local papers while Dessa King was its owner, the ads often showed the eloquently, smartly dressed woman. This ad appeared in the Herald in November 1965. Display ads from the local automotive dealers were once a big deal in both the Herald and the press. Howard Webb Motor Company promoted the 1960 Ford trucks in this ad from December the 10th, 1959. The 1960s were an interesting time in American history. The suggestive 60s produced a couple of banner ads in the Berrien Press in August 1967 that one might not have expected from either the paper or the bank that sponsored them. The United Banking Company got a new time and temperature telephone number and bought space in the paper to let everyone know. All the girls wish they had as many calls as 2011, said one ad, while for the time of your life, call 2011, said the other. Many characters have been used through the decades to promote various local businesses. In 1974, the Bank of Alapaha held a contest to name its new spokesman. Julia Brannaman was the winner of the contest with her suggestion of Mr. Yule Savemore. His companion on the right was never given a name, but he faithfully advertised Morrison's Home Center on page 3 of the Berrien Press for several decades. As an interesting side note, the Morrison's man was actually used in a couple of Miller's Supplies ads before he became a staple of Morrison's advertisements. Various businesses through the years have had logos that made for quick recognition by their customers, like these for Levine's Foodland Supermarket and the A. Levine Department Store. From the 1960s until the 1980s, the script logos for Albert's Jewelers and Dorminey's helped their businesses have instant recognition. So did the Town and Country Drugs logo, which was an exact replica of the sign on their building. Special occasions like graduation, Christmas, New Year's, the opening of tobacco market, and others often led businesses to do special advertisements, either to promote their wares or just to express appreciation to their customers. In its heyday, the opening of the Nashville tobacco market would often produce the biggest newspaper of the year, with all of the advertisements that would pack the pages. The artistic beauty shop knew its clientele, and what lady wouldn't want to look good during tobacco season when all the hard work on the farm paid off? This ad from July 1937 gave the tobacco season specials at the shop. In 1958, the fact that the Berrien drugstore was air conditioned was a drawing card for customers in town during tobacco season. and they made note of it in this ad from the Herald. The arrival and opening of a state farmers market in Nashville was a big deal in 1949. Georgia Power Company joined many others in celebrating its opening and offered their congratulations. The Berrien County Centennial in 1956 was such a big event that it took more than one newspaper to record all the celebration going on for the county's 100th birthday. The Berrien County Centennial logo was displayed prominently in most of the ads, just like in this one for the Shamrock, which was then owned by Mrs. H. H. Powell. And then there is Christmas, that most wonderful time of the year. Of course, the businesses want to attract as many customers as possible with elaborate ads to help shoppers find everything on their wish list. We could do an entire presentation with nothing but Christmas ads, but tonight we will look at a select few. Useful and sensible Christmas gifts were the emphasis in this ad for St. Taggart during the 1913 holiday season. Taggart bluntly told his customers, "Don't throw your money away buying some trashy present, but come to us and buy a sensible gift." At Christmas 1942, Bragdon Dry Cleaners reminded customers that they needed to look spiffy for the Christmas season, with Santa Claus painting the message. Albert's Jewelers was a frequent advertiser in both the Herald and the press through the years. Albert's Christmas ad was often a full page with a listing of all the items he had to make Christmas dreams come true. In the 1970s and 1980s, Santa's sleigh and at least some of his reindeer usually headlined the ad. Some businesses did not do much in the way of advertising because of the strength of word of mouth and the loyalty of their return customers, but they could often be counted on to take out an ad at Christmas and New Year's. That makes these two finds for City Dry Cleaners all the more special, since neither it nor City Cleaners and Laundry, as it came to be known, were found in the pages of the Herald or the press that often. These ads are from Christmas 1955 and New Year's 1956. We hope you have enjoyed a nostalgic trip through time, and maybe some of the vintage advertisements that have been collected in our research have brought a smile to your face. Don't go anywhere just yet. We are going to have a little fun testing your knowledge of local business slogans and the characters who have promoted them. Get your pens ready. The winner will receive a prize.